Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. Tonight we look at the controversies over INEC's list of governorship candidates in Anambra State as INEC returns Soludo's name and PDP is omitted on that list. INEC will explain to us tonight. And tonight we'll also be engaging some opposition political parties on the state of the nation and the role of political parties in building the nation. So stay with me, everyone. Welcome on board. Let's first and foremost tell you about the meeting of former presidents. The former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has met with former President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja today, where she expressed concern about rising political tensions in some West African states ahead of general elections. Addressing journalists after the close of meeting at President Jonathan's office, the former Liberian president notes that there is an urgent need for all former West African presidents to close ranks and midwife smooth transition of political powers in the region.
We have so many tensions in our countries today. We have so many elections coming up. We all want to see the kind of smooth transition that he ushered, he promoted, and I ushered, to ensure peace and stability. So my visit here provided the opportunity. I used the opportunity of being here to brief him on my program. I established a Center for Women in Development, and I came to let him know that the objective of that is to promote women to the ascendancy of higher positions in public service. And we've started that, and we already have many dynamic women who have achieved certain levels of position in their societies, but aspire to do more. And we work with them, and they work with women who have already excelled, like former women presidents, like I am. And we work with these women to be able to help them with their strategies, to give them advice when they feel they've reached obstacles or they want to something. And so I wanted him to know about this as an initiative and to call upon him to see himself as a strong supporter of women, as he's already established a record in this regard.
That's the former Liberian president, President Sirleaf. Let's tell you more about some of the political stories we're following for you on our political roundup.
President Muhammadu Buhari has been on the road today. This morning, he left Abuja for Yola, where he paid a condolence visit to the families of 3 elder statesmen and prominent sons of Adamawa State who passed recently, one of whom is late Ahmed Joda. The president has described the services of the elder statesmen to Nigeria as immeasurable, saying that all the years he knew the revered public administrator, he never requested any favors from him. Afterwards, the president went to Kanu for the wedding ceremony of his son, Yusuf Buhari, who is getting married to Zara Bayero, the daughter of Nasiru Ado Bayero, the emir of Bishi. Eminent Nigerians attended the event, which had former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, state governors, and several federal cabinet ministers. Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State, alongside the national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Chief Victor Oye, today inaugurated the Governorship Campaign Council for the Soludo Ibizim ticket. Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, Oka, Anambra State, came alive as members of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, in their thousands gathered to be part of the inauguration program. According to Governor Willie Obiano, the event will mark the emergence of the party into a new phase of campaign activities. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has vowed to enhance the productivity of members of the State House of Assembly to enable them meet the aspiration of their constituents. Governor Wike gave the assurance during an inspection of the progress of work at the 10.1 billion naira legislative quarters, comprising 32 numbers of 4-bedroom duplexes in Obia Akpo local government area. He says the residential quarters is one of such motivation for the lawmakers to perform effectively.
We believe with this, that will make them to motivate them to do more for the people of the state, which they have been doing. The cooperation we've had with the legislature is quite tremendous. So we'll do anything to make sure that they deliver what the people expect them to do. So I'm quite happy with the level of work.
Some members of Nigeria's oil and gas producing host communities in the Niger Delta region are applauding the 9th Assembly and President Muhammadu Buhari for passing and signing the Petroleum Industry Bill into law. The group, which converged on the Unity Fountain in Abuja, thanked President Buhari and the National Assembly for their roles in ensuring that the law is passed. The group also appeals to leaders from the Niger Delta region who are dissatisfied with the 3% revenue allocation to oil and gas producing host communities to exercise some restraint.
What we have been waiting for will be given to us. And so we are here to celebrate this PIA 3% for a starting point.
Part of the stories we told you yesterday is what we're going to be staying on today as a major story that a lot of people are talking about. Is that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has returned the name of a former governor of Central Bank, Professor Charles Soludo, of the All Progressives Grand Alliance to the list of the candidates for the Anambra governorship election. The commission said it followed a judgment of the Court of Appeal, Kano Division, on the leadership of ABGA and on the nomination of candidates for the Anambra governorship election. However, obviously missing is the People's Democratic Party, which is not represented on that list. Let's get to hear more on this and perhaps so much more about the preparations for that governorship election in Anambra State, the continuous voter registration, and a few other issues. I'm being joined on the program tonight by the National Commissioner of INEC, Mr. Festus Okoye, who joins us from our Abuja studio. It's a great pleasure to have you tonight, Mr. Okoye. Let's begin first and foremost from the ones that we did not see. Then we'll discuss the one that we saw. PDP is one of Nigeria's major main opposition party, who was not represented on that list. Is there any reason for that?
Well, the list we released is not the final list of candidates in relation to the Anambra governorship election. The list that we released relates to the provisions of Section 35 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. By Section 33 of the Electoral Act, political parties are at liberty to substitute the names of the candidates they submitted before on two grounds. One, if the candidate they submitted his or her name passed on, or the candidate whose name was submitted voluntarily withdraws from the race and then informs the political party that nominated him in writing that he or she has withdrawn. In such instances, the political party that nominated him is at liberty to forward to the Independent National Electoral Commission the name of a new person. So the list we released yesterday is the list of political parties that did this substitution. Those who substituted their governorship candidates and deputy governorship candidates, or those who substituted only the governorship candidates or the deputy governorship candidates, and so on. So that was the list we released yesterday. Secondly, the list also contains the name of the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance and that of the deputy. This is because prior to this particular period, the Independent National Electoral Commission published the name of another individual as the governorship candidate. But based on the court, on the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Kano Judicial Division, we had to return the name of Professor Soludo as the governorship candidate of the ABGA. That was why the name appeared on the list we released yesterday.
Since you said that this is not going to be the last, and maybe because of maybe not because of your process, but because of court processes and the judgments that keep coming, you might have to review and review over again, because you have mentioned to us on this program a few times that INEC will follow the judgment, we obey court orders, we obey court judgment, and therefore it does look like we're seeing more of this judgment coming over and over again. Is INEC aware of what happened yesterday in relation to ABGA in Owerri High Court? What came out of that session yesterday? Are you aware? Could that have affected your further decision?
No. You see, if you look at Section 287, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, which is the fundamental law of the land, which is the ground norm, it provides specifically that the decisions of the Court of Appeal shall be enforced in any part of the Federation by all authorities and persons, and by courts with subordinate jurisdiction to that of the Court of Appeal. Now, if you look at the judgment of the Kano Division of the Court of Appeal, they were very, very clear. The judgment was to the effect that the entire proceedings and the judgment of the trial court, including the consequential orders that were made by that particular court, and the reliefs granted therein are vitiated for being a nullity and therefore void. And the judgment from the Jigawa State High Court that sat in Birnin Kudu was the genesis, was the base of some of these things that are going on. And the Court of Appeal has made it very clear that for you to assume jurisdiction in relation to some of these issues, you must have both substantive and territorial jurisdiction to do that. So as far as the Commission is concerned, we have a judgment from the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal is superior to other subordinate courts. So we have obeyed the judgment of the Court of Appeal. We cannot set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal and then go to obey the judgment or orders from an inferior court, in this instance from either a federal high court or from a state high court. So we are on firm grounds in doing what we have done.
It's interesting because we're talking to a lawyer, a senior lawyer at that, Mr. Okoye, and so of course we know you're giving us the position of the law in that regard. But the big question on the minds of a lot of people is, how does INEC handle all of these conflicting court orders? And I've had conversations with you and some of your colleagues in INEC on the issue of conflicting court orders and how it affects the election itself. I'm aware there are conversations on how we can operate our election process such that court judgment or court orders will not affect the process. What do you make of this, and how is INEC handling all of these court decisions?
Well, fundamentally, the law provides that no court of law in Nigeria has the virus or the power to stop the primaries of a political party from taking place, or from stopping a general election, or the processes leading to a general election. So the courts are aware of this challenge. But you know, what is going on is what in legal parlance we call forum shopping. People who are looking for a place where they can get a favorable decision, and that's why people will go to for party primaries that took place in Anambra, for instance. Some people will go to Bauchi State, some people will go to Jigawa State, some people will go to Anambra State, to Imo State, and to other places to go and look for a place where they can get a favorable decision. But fundamentally, Section 285 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has defined what we mean by a pre-election matter. And a pre-election matter can only be filed by an aspirant in the party primary elections, or by a political party that complains that any of the decisions of the Independent National Electoral Commission, or that the Electoral Act has been breached, and so on and so forth. So I believe that it is important for the Bar Association and for the judiciary to intervene in what is going on, because if this spate of forum shopping, if this spate of multiple and conflicting court orders is carried forward to the 2023 general election, is going to be very, very, is going to have far-reaching consequences on our electoral process. So I think that all the institutions that are concerned must intervene, and courts must not donate their jurisdiction, donate their forum for people who are engaged in forum shopping. By so doing, some persons may, at the end, bring the institution of the judiciary to disrepute, and that will not augur well for our democracy and for our electoral process.
So, a question is that, is there a penalty for what some may have seen as legal infractions in the mode and the manner in which they go in this forum shopping? Is there a penalty under the law or in any of the community of laws against this kind of activities, which is perpetrated majorly by politicians, isn't it, and aided by lawyers?
Well, for those of us who are lawyers, we know that it's unethical for you to go forum shopping, for you to go and try to get a court to assume jurisdiction that it does not have. So that is at the level of professional misconduct. But at the level of the judiciary, you know, it's the National Judicial Council that has jurisdiction over unethical conduct or over a breach of judicial norms against judicial officers. But in relation to the politicians, I believe that a court properly constituted and a court that knows its onions will not donate its jurisdiction for people to abuse it. If a party primary has taken place in Anambra State and somebody moves to Borno State to go and ventilate or litigate a matter involving a party primary that has taken place in Anambra State, and the court knows that such a person was never an aspirant in the party primaries, it's not a political party that participated in the party in the primaries, the court can on its own so motu raise the issue and either send the case back to Anambra State or strike the matter out. So I believe that our courts of law must be proactive in making sure that we protect the institution of the judiciary from abuse by those who are looking for a favorable forum and favorable outcome, and therefore they go forum shopping.
What is the position of PDP? Because it does look like they've been declared without identity as far as Anambra governorship election is concerned. In terms of the leadership, in terms of where they stand as a party to contest for this election, where do they stand in the eyes of the umpire?
Well, you know, in relation to the PDP, what happened was that the PDP as a political party uploaded the name and personal particulars of a particular candidate to have nomination portal. And that was the candidate whose name the commission published. Then thereafter, there was also another court judgment urging and directing the PDP as a political party to submit the name of a different individual or a different candidate as the candidate of the party. Now, the PDP did not submit the name of that particular individual, and we cannot publish the name unless the PDP submits the name of that particular individual. But thereafter, the matter went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal, one, granted accelerated hearing in relation to the matter involving the PDP and its candidates, and then also asked the Independent National Electoral Commission not to publish the name of any of the candidates pending the final determination of the matter before the Court of Appeal. So when the Court of Appeal makes a final determination in relation to the matter, then we will know whether the PDP has a candidate in the election. But if towards the end, when we are about to publish the final list of candidates and the matters have not been resolved, we will just impute PDP as a political party on the list without publishing the name of any of the candidates. So that's where we are in relation to the PDP.
For the benefit of our viewers tonight, can you tell us the deadline? Because all of these are majorly pre-election matters. Can you tell us the deadline for this kind of situation to end before INEC takes its final decision on the candidates' names?
Well, as things stand now, the decision relating to who is the candidate of any of the political parties is completely outside the purview and outside the control of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, Section 285 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gives the High Court, the Federal High Court, and the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory a total of 180 days to make a determination relating to pre-election matters. And these pre-election matters must be filed within a period of 14 days from the period of the accrual of the cause of action. Then thereafter, when the matter goes to the Court of Appeal, whoever is appealing has a total of 14 days within which to appeal from the date of the judgment. And the Court of Appeal has 60 days within which to hear and make a determination and deliver his judgment in relation to the appeal. And then the appeal can also terminate at the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court also has 60 days within which to do all these things. So if these things don't end within the period slated for the conduct of the elections, we will simply go ahead with the election and then leave the political party on the ballot. If the party wins on the ballot and then finally the Supreme Court determines the matter, then we will declare the candidate as having been duly elected. So we are just following the law and we are following the Constitution.
As cumbersome and as complicated it may sound, it does look like INEC know what to do, but is all of these the complications coming from the courtroom and what politicians are doing before now. So for the benefit of our viewers, let's show you again what some of these names are. So far, it's only 12 political parties INEC have published so far for now, because they say it might change, and definitely it looks like it will change from what Mr. Okoye had told us, from Party A to AA, AAC, ADP, APC, ABGA, and APM, NRM, PRP, SDP, YPP, and ZLP. Those are the political parties officially named or listed to contest in the November 6th governorship election in Anambra State. But let's go into a very important aspect of this election, which was an event that started on the 9th, I guess, which is a campaign of the political parties for this election. INEC was making propositions when the amendment of the law, the Electoral Act, came up, the debate and the conversation around it came up. But there is a window, there are guidelines on campaign financing, campaign activity, and what the political parties need to do. Can you tell us, from what we have seen, because INEC had come out to say, look, the political parties are doing the wrong thing, they are not supposed to do this, they're not supposed to do that. What are your biggest headache when it comes to campaigns of political parties in such an election like this?
Yeah, just permit me, before I answer your question, to make just a very fundamental clarification. There are some political parties that are contesting this Anambra governorship election whose names are not on the list we published yesterday. The political parties that did not substitute either their governorship candidate or their deputy governorship candidates, their names are not on this list because they don't have any issue. There are only two political parties that have issues in relation to this. That was the All Progressive Grand Alliance, and we have, based on the judgment of the Court of Appeal, we have imputed the name of their governorship candidate on the list, and the PDP. So the other parties whose names are not here are still contesting the election. The only thing is that they didn't make any substitution. So at the end of the day, when we publish the final list of candidates contesting the elections, their names will also be published. So they are free to go about campaigning because they didn't do any substitution. So their names should not be on this list because this list was published in compliance with Section 35 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, which obligates the Commission to accept the list from political parties when a candidate withdraws and there's some level of substitution. So having said that...
sorry, which of the political parties are these? Can you tell us?
I think that one of the biggest...
Sorry, which of the political parties are these ones that you said were not listed aside ABGA and PDP? What are these political parties?
Well, you know, the 18 political parties in Nigeria conducted party primary elections and are contesting election in relation to the governorship election in Anambra. So any name, any of the political parties whose names you don't see on this particular list is contesting the election. The only political party that we cannot reveal the name of the candidate as at now is the PDP, based on the order of the Court of Appeal that said that that we should not publish the name of any of the candidates. But every other political party, so any political party whose name is not on this particular list is on the ballot for the purposes of the election in Anambra State. I cannot give you the name of the political parties offered, but their names, they are contesting this election since they didn't make any substitution in relation to their governorship or deputy governorship candidates.
Okay, so you can go ahead and tell us your biggest headache or fears about the campaigns of the political parties, which started a few days ago, on the 9th, I guess, of August.
Well, we are positive that the campaigns will be conducted in a manner that defies the electoral process, and also in a manner that makes people go out for these campaigns in a very, very safe environment. We are in a very unusual situation. Unusual situation in the sense that the Independent National Electoral Commission must conduct this particular election because these are elections we say are constitutionally circumscribed and must be conducted within a particular time frame. Since the time frame prescribed by the Constitution are cast in stone and cannot be moved. They are like the Rock of Gibraltar that cannot be moved. So we expect political parties to conduct their campaigns in a manner that people are safe, and also in a manner that does not raise unnecessary tension, given the fact that there's a high level of insecurity in the country. So we expect political parties to understand that Nigeria that things are not really too well, especially in terms of the security challenges and security situation in the country. But hopefully, we are hopeful that we are not going to experience any serious security breach in Anambra. So if what they do is to go to the court and ventilate their grievances rather than taking the laws into their hands, I think that will be much, much better for the electoral process. So the high level of insecurity, especially in Nigeria and in other parts of the country, is a major challenge, and we expect people to understand this challenge and also work within the confines of the rule of law and due process and not do anything that will raise unnecessary tension in the country.
We most sincerely thank you tonight, Mr. Festus Okoye. I thought that we might be able to touch on the CVR, but I guess we'll do that some other time. But it's good that you've given clarification on some of this issue, and perhaps the next time we have opportunity to speak with you, you'll also be telling us about the enlisting and delisting of political parties in Nigeria. Those are very interesting conversations that a lot of Nigerians are interested in. Thank you so much, Mr. Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner of INEC in charge of voter education and publicity. Appreciate your coming tonight.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a break, everyone, and when we return, two national chairmen of some opposition political parties in Nigeria will join me on the program, Mr. Bishop Amakri and Mr. Raf Unwosu, on opposition politics, the 2023, and the state of the nation. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Perhaps you're one of those who asked the question, where are all the other political parties aside the PDP and the APC? The APC, the ruling party at the center, the PDP, the party that was ousted by the APC. But aside that, we have several other political parties in the least 20-something that we have running in Nigeria after INEC delisted some of the political parties, running over 64 or so at a time. But tonight, what are the roles of political parties in Nigeria in the process of building the nation? Tonight, we have two of the political parties and their leaders with us. They're joining us from our Abuja studio. Raf Unwosu is the national chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and Bishop Amakri, Bishop is his first name. If you're wondering, Bishop Amakri is the national chairman of the Young Progressives Party. A lot of people ask me if Bishop is your title or your name, but I tell them it's your name. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight. So the big question is tonight is the role of political parties in Nigeria in building the nation. Perhaps, let me come to you, Mr. Amakari. In the position that we have right now, and the question people ask, why are we not seeing other political parties aside those political parties that they call the major political parties, the ruling, the major opposition political parties? What exactly is happening within the political space?
Well, Sean, thank you for this question, but I want to say very categorical that it's not true that other political parties are not, in the political space working. I can speak for the Young Progressives Party, and I know since inception, since coming on board of the YPP 2017, 7th of June 2017, we have been on top of the game. We are always continue to participate in every electioneering contest. And not just only that, we have also continue to evolve, carry out the mandate of the party, the riding mantra of the party, which is service to humanity. And I think the archives are there to speak for us. If you Google into the website, you'll see a lot of things about the YPP, what we have done since, the coming on board of Young Progressives Party. The reason is that why people ask this kind of question is because people are used to the other two identical, two political parties, which is the PDP and the APC, using taxpayers' money, resources, to water the ground, for their way, to power. And they think that is the best way to go to some people. But I think it's a very wrong kind of thinking for any Nigerian to be thinking that way. So these two other big parties, so to speak, like they call them, for me, I believe the advantage they have, the edge they have as against some of us who are really galvanizing membership drive across the 36 states of this country with our own, hard-earned money, with other persons who are driven also with great spirit of patriotism and volunteerism that continue to support the growth of the party, down from the ward up to the national. We have been doing immensely well, I must confess to you. And 2019 general election is a case study that every Nigerian should know. YPP became less than 1 year. We scored a goal. We produced a senator just within a short period of time. Now in Lagos, the same thing, the last election that just the last election of about some weeks ago, we produced a councillor as well there. That's to tell you that we are doing pretty well, but I'm not here to beat our drum. I'm just trying to tell you that, Sean, we have been doing, absolutely well. If not for anything, I can beat my chest to tell you that the YPP have grown from 0% membership drive, as we speak, to almost about 40% membership drive. And it's a work in progress. And I can assure you that in no distant time, Nigeria is going to get a shocker of the century when YPP again will score another goal. But I'm not going to disclose the strategy or whatever thing we have on ground at the moment. But I can tell you that just keep your eyes on the ball and watch. Very soon you will see the music that will be playing. And the masquerade, the big masquerades will come out to dance well and go home victoriously.
I know you're on the ballot for the Anambra governorship election. Let me come to Mr. Nwosu. Part of the roles of political parties is to get candidates for election, mobilize voters, facilitate governance, do all shadowy process of pressure on ruling parties and all of that. But in the space that you operate presently, what are the hopes of a political party such as yours? If you look at the politics of 2023, for example.
Ashew, I want to thank you. But I want to go back to about the first question you asked. You see, I want you to do a more I want the media people to do more critical evaluation of the political parties. I can assure you, if you check how many times the national chairman of any of these other political parties, the kind of activities they do, and then how many times these political parties are involved in running some events, you discover that no party in Nigeria has run as much event as ADC. No party in Nigeria. But what happened generally is that for these parties, I mean, APC has about 18 governors. When all the governors are talking, they say APC governor. When all the commissioners in the states are talking, they say APC governor. When Mr. President goes to Kanu or anywhere, the TVs are following him. They say APC is the president. But when you look at party administration and party organization and party working, you discover that what these other parties are doing is 10 times, much more than what the executives of all these other, that's the so-called two parties. But Nigerians have come to say that they are the same party. You know, that's the PDP and the APC and so on. So I guess the media should be able to inform the Nigerian people the correct situation. The leadership of the party, of any of these other parties, are not doing anything compared to what the other 16 parties, and even the ones that INEC said they've registered, their leadership are stronger than the leadership of the parties in government. And when I say stronger, you can see the loopholes and challenges we have in government. Because those people are just there, dishing out money, hardly showing leadership. But you show leadership when you don't have money, when you don't have resources, and you're able to inspire people to do their work, and so on. So for Nigeria to have the kind of leadership we want in this country, we need to rejig and look at the parties that at times both the media and everybody want to run down, that they're not doing enough. But when you have almost 600 commissioners, when they speak, they talk about their parties and so on. Having said that, our party, we are doing a lot of activities now. In Anambra State is the brand to beat. We organized the best primary in Anambra State. Everybody is talking about it. In Anambra State, the new third force has emerged. And by the time the process of this election will end, it will be clear that a third force has emerged for the country.
All right.
The leaders of this third force across the country are converging in Anambra State to say this is the direction we want to go, because where we are now is suffocating everybody, including you, Sheung.
Well, I don't know what you mean exactly, but the reason why we're having this kind of conversation tonight, Mr. Nwosu and Mr. Makri, is the question a lot of people are always asking. Channels Television as an own responsible organization, a media organization in Nigeria, we're trying to give the so-called silent and the unheard voices a voice within the political space. And that's the reason why we're having this conversation. And we're at that point in our nation that we need solution. And those who are in politics, and we're asking the question, What are the solutions from your own political party standpoint? The role of your party in nation building. And let me begin again with Mr. Amakri. What is your party's solution? Because if you say that the ruling party or the main opposition party are not doing well, what are the solutions your party platform, for example, have for the nation?
Thank you, Sean. Very, very important question, and I will answer you. Well, I'm a pragmatist, and I want to tell you that I don't believe in anything third force. I would rather believe in what I would call deforce, THEFRCE, deforce, because there hasn't been even the first force, not talk about second or third. I believe in the force. Now, the force is the YPP. I can assure you that the political consciousness in the minds of Nigerians now has awakened. It has really awakened to an extent that people are beginning to advocate for a paradigm shift. This paradigm shift is not even just being championed by YPP. It is being championed by the critical stakeholders of the business of nation building in Nigeria, which is the electorate. Now, what we are providing is a platform. Now, back to the question you're asking is, we have an alternative to this, and the alternative is what? We are providing a platform that will stand as a platform to ignite a revolutionary movement through the ballot, not by guns. And then coming up with leaders and also politicians without greed that will champion the cause of governance for a greater Nigeria of our desire. Because, why it is so is because, the truth of the matter is that you cannot be a House of Assembly member or a rep, even a local government chairman or councillor, without coming, under a platform of a political party. And that's why we believe that to deepen our democracy more, we must give priority to leadership recruitment process, which it is the political parties actually that go through that exercise in ushering in leaders. So why we feel that that process must be given priority, and then we decided to say, let the YPP be the real deforce that the Nigerians need, where both the youth, even the elders, we have progressive persons in Nigeria today. They are not youth, but they are progressive in mind, mentally. So we will consult with them, ask them of their ideas, so that we can actually, because the truth of the matter is that what Nigeria is facing today, the political injury that we are facing today is a self-inflicted injury by us and the people themselves. We can't continue this way and continue to cast aspersion and think that all is going to be well. We must come out to join political participation, all right, so that we can right the wrongs.
All right.
We all know that the present status quo has not provided anything politically. I am telling you that the only solution to our political liberation is to begin to come out. Nigerians have to come out in mass, both the young and the old, the progressive persons, including the youth that must be progressive too. They must come out and begin to think about the rebirth of Nigeria.
All right, because Mr. Amakri, let me bring back Mr. Nwosu, because the question on the minds of people is the ideology of some of these political parties, and that will also come up again when we start talking about 2023 politics. And of course, the conversation has even in fact started. From your own standpoint, Mr. Nwosu, the leadership recruitment process is very critical. 2023 is going to be a make or make, I won't say make or ma, process in the life of this nation. What would you suggest, or what do you think is very critical at the heart of the kind of leader that Nigeria needs for 2023?
Thank you. ADC, we are doing so much. Number one, if you get to ADC, we are like a leadership institute. The ADC office is a campus, the ADC Global Campus. What do we do there? It's almost a learning center. On daily basis, we have conferences, we have our academy that is going on. What are we doing? We're trying to inspire the youth. We're trying to inspire women. We are daily trying to mainstream women, youth, people living with disability. And we're not just preparing them to gain political power. We are educating them to have the skills. Because for ADC, we believe we are a progressive party, and we say complete transformational leadership. Our country cannot continue going in the path it's going now. We are evolving a system where the leadership capacity, the quality of the persons we present to lead at any time are people that can fit into, align with our vision of providing the transformational leadership that can make Nigeria a superpower nation within the next 20 years. That's why you see our vision clearly. We want to move the country from flawed elections, from political talks like this, to action-packed activity, transformational activity that will grow our country to become a superpower within the next 20 years. Therefore, creating opportunities for everybody and taking our young people out of the street. Complete employment.
Mr. Nwosu, apologies to interject. We need to take a quick commercial break.
Education.
Sorry, apologies. We need to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and continue the conversation. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
The Budget Office of the Federation, BOF, will commence on Monday, August 23, 2021. The training on the GIFMIS budget preparation subsystem will hold physically in Lagos and Abuja, while from MDAs from other zones, it will hold virtually. A maximum of 6 participants per MDA are required to register by an authorized official from MDA. Have a functional laptop with internet access to register participants. Go to BOF website. For inquiries, please call the Budget Office Help Desk on 0800-225-5263. Ben Akabweze, Director General, Announcer.
Thank you so much, everyone. I've been speaking with two national chairmen of some of Nigeria's opposition political parties, the ADC and the YPP. Let's wrap up the conversation, and I'd like us to do it in this manner. It's about 2023 politics, the kind of leader Nigeria needs as the president. Let me allow Mr. Makri quickly to intervene before we get the final or the closing thoughts from Mr. Nwosu. What is the kind of leader, or who is the kind of president that Nigeria needs in 2023?
Thank you very much. The YPP had continued to remain resolute in advocating. I want to use one formula which I will call the 3 T's. We have 3 kind of leadership. One you call the transformational leadership. You also have the transactional leadership, and you have transitional leadership. But the YPP always maintained her ground that we will always stand to see how we can bring forth to Nigerians the real transformational leaders that we desire in this country. So I'm telling you that the only way forward is when we look inwards and tell ourselves the truth. And I throw this back to the electorate as well, to see this as, you know, a kind of partnership project that they also must be involved in ensuring that we break away from this, you know, leadership quagmire that has bedeviled our country today. I am of the opinion that Nigerians, if they come out in their numbers, through the ballot revolution that we have always continued to preach in YPP, We launched the YPP ballot revolution, mantra, and it's already yielding a lot of results. Lately, we won an election in Lagos. For me, it's actually a goal to me. Going forward, Shenwu, I want to stand firm that the only kind of leaders we need today in Nigeria must be transformational leaders. And I am going to tell you this. Before, I didn't want to tell you. But let me reveal a bit secret to you this night. Very soon, for you to know that the YPP will have a short-term, mid-term, and long-term projection. The YPP already, we are going to launch very soon what I will call Project 469. Project 469 means we want to be practical in our ambition. We know, not that we can't win the center seat, which is the presidency that a lot of people are eyeing. But we want to go with from the realistic point of it.
All right, let me, because we need to wrap up now. Yeah, let me allow Mr. Nwosu's final thoughts. The kind of leader, the kind of president Nigeria needs in 2023. Just in a minute, please. We need to go.
Thank you. You know, you look at the party, their past and their present, you can know where they're going. The first person that ADC ever presented to be the presidential candidate was Professor Patu Tommy. We are building a brand. We are building a party to transform Nigeria. After that, the next person was now late, Professor Wangu. And then the third person, Dr. Ahmad Mani Ibrahim. Then the fourth person is May Lafia, the former deputy governor of CBN. So we are serious about what we preach. You look at the character of our elected persons. Leadership is a work of character. Leadership, when you have the heart in alignment with the mind and the soul, you get the best that will touch the life of people. Leadership is about people. Therefore, when we talk about transformation, people can use words. When you talk about transformational leadership, you're talking about knowledge-driven persons. People who work with ideas, knowledge, and, a clear identity of
gentlemen, we need to leave it at that because we're totally out of time. But I must sincerely thank both of you. It's an opportunity to hear from the parties that you probably don't hear every day on your TV. Mr. Ralph Nwosu is the national chairman of the ADC, and Mr. Bishop Amakri is the national chairman of the YPP, both opposition political parties in Nigeria. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight to share your thoughts.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimbale. Bye for now.